We as human beings love to be around like-minded people. And not just like-minded, but people that are like us. I remember the day in class when I had moved to the UK and I was still a new girl in that school, and we were on a Zoom call. I was looking through the names on the Zoom call and I remember seeing Nifemi. It felt like a big piece of me had been found again. It was just so nice seeing another Nigerian in the classroom, even though, I barely talked to him after that. I became friends with a lot of other Nigerians and Africans, and I really loved our little community in school that we were able to build. I felt we were able to understand each other a lot better. I didn't have to fake my accent around them. I relapsed into how I was at home. A lot of us had shared values and goals. So these were things that I was used to, but I was not prepared for what came when I didn't have this anymore. Hi guys, my name is Josie, and in this video I'll be talking about the loneliness that can come with not having people that you feel that you can relate to, or friendships that can feel empty. Now, despite having a Nigerian community, I started a very diverse group of friends from different countries that I learned a lot from, and I really enjoyed those connections. I was used to going to a school where there were people from all sorts of backgrounds, and in that large group of people there was usually a group of people that I could connect with. After moving from that school that I was in to a different school with just not as much diversity, I didn't even feel like I belonged. I felt like I stood out in a lot of the classes that I was in. I couldn't really have deep, thought-provoking conversations with a lot of the people that I came into contact with. For example, when I first moved to that school, I realized that a lot of the conversations I was having with people was centered around boys. Like, what are your interests? Like, do you like books? What are your goals? And there was a lot of very privileged mindsets that I found. So there were many one-dimensional ways of thinking, and the biggest problems would be, oh yeah, my Lulu jacket didn't come in on time, and that's like their biggest issue, but it's just not something that I was really able to understand. But after realizing the true state of matters and knowing I couldn't just up and leave, I did make friends, but I was putting on this persona that was very fake. I'd prog myself to fake laugh at the jokes, to pretend to understand or relate to the things that they were saying. So I would go to hangouts because I didn't want to feel left out, but then I would come back feeling so drained from the acting that I had been putting on. And most of all, I still felt really lonely. I would text my friends from my old school. Those were the only connections that I still felt were meaningful. So after a lot happened, especially with that friend group that I just mentioned, I just stood apart from a lot of these people. And during this time, I realized the most important thing was being myself. Like, this is really something that I've been hearing about, and I'm sure you've also heard about your whole life, but was not something I was putting to practice still. So when I was just myself, I didn't have to edit any part of myself out. It was so peaceful. In fact, I felt much better being by myself during this period than chasing connections with people that I didn't even feel good after being with. So I learned to be okay with my own company. I was so used to not really texting that many people, to not calling that many people. I learned to be okay by myself. I was so dependent on other people anyways that when I didn't talk to that many people at the start, I was in a very bad mental state. But after I did enter these friendships, after I did see how it was after forcing them, I was like, wow, I really haven't been missing out after all. I believe that the right friendships will come when the time is right. After those friendships that I had at the start, I ended up meeting much better people after that. I really enjoyed talking to, that I would hang out with and want to hang out with the next time. And these weren't friendships that I forced. I would talk, but it wasn't like I was actively hunting for these, if you know what I mean. Like, they just flowed, and because of our natural understanding, everything just flowed together. So for anyone who might be watching this video, just know that you are not the problem. During the period where I had these friends but I still felt lonely, I really felt like there was something wrong with me. I thought maybe if I was more this or more that, then I would feel more accepted. You shouldn't have to change who you are for shallow relationships that are not going to last. And to leave you with one last verse, the scripture says in Proverbs 27 verse 9 that a sweet friendship refreshes the soul. Friendship is supposed to refresh us, to make us feel rejuvenated, energized, vigorized. I don't know if that's a word. They are not supposed to drain us, but are supposed to be pleasant blessings in our lives. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you were able to gain a little something from this video. Thank you so much for watching and have a blessed day. Bye bye, guys.